On Sports Better Chase, chasewins.com. Week 12 NFL action. Let's get into it. Got a lot of ground to cover. I'm going to give you a free play, but I'm also going to give you some key points in other games this week or this Sunday, because this video is for Sunday, even though it's Saturday, that I want you to look at, that I want you to take into consideration if you haven't already. Because if you don't, then you're really not soaking in all the information you should about these games. And this is one of the most volatile weeks. This is, besides the week of the Super Bowl, the most heavily bet week of the year. And some people would argue and go, "Oh, well, what about March Madness or something like that?" Yes, March Madness is big. You get a lot of people coming in and saying, "Hey, I'm a North Carolina fan or a Duke fan or a Kansas fan or a Michigan State fan or somebody," and they go in and they put $50 for them to win it all. That's way different than this. The Super Bowl obviously brings the most attention because that's where people that don't even bet always bet. But this week, because of Thanksgiving and because of all the action going on, the start of college basketball, this is always one of the most heavily bet weeks. And what people do is get so consumed with what's going on from Monday Night Football until Saturday college football that they really don't look at what's going on in the NFL, and they go into Sunday and they make decisions that are either, kind of off the hip, just general what they first think, what they think that they see by the eye test from weeks past, or they're trying to dig themselves out of a hole. And that allows people like us to pounce on those mistakes. So there's things that you have to look at, guys, and don't get me wrong. Think about it. Usually, this week for college football is the week where all the rivals play, the Iron Bowl, which that did take place, but you didn't have your Georgia Tech, you didn't have your Florida State, you didn't have your Clemson South Carolina, you didn't have Ohio State Michigan, like all these. This is what the Saturday after Thanksgiving is about, and we didn't have that this year. But that doesn't change what we do have for NFL Sunday. So before we get into that, let's touch on a couple of things. Number one, all of the people that took part in Black Friday, congrats to you for becoming a new client. Some of you turning from short term to long term, some of you from long term to longer term, some of you from one sport trying out a new sport, whatever it was. Black Friday, we offered deals that we do not ever offer. Some things aren't even something you can go buy on the site, and we offered it. So congrats to everyone. Now, what I will say, and if you're on the email list, you already know this, but for those that don't, if you send an email in response to the Black Friday video and you have not gotten a response yet, don't worry, you will. We were flooded with so many emails, people wanting to take part, people asking questions about it, making sure they heard it correctly. So we are trying to get through every one of them. But at the same time, I can't answer email 24 hours a day. I have to worry about games and getting out winning plays. So that takes the lead. And then when that's done, that's when I do the emails. But we did have an issue with our email on Saturday where people were sending in emails going, "Hey, I sent you an email yesterday, but I didn't get a response." And we're thinking, "Oh, it's just because we haven't gotten to it yet." But then we go back and look for the original email and we don't have it. So we do think that there was an issue with our email. Whether there was or wasn't, what we did because of that was tell those people, "Listen, it could very well be our fault, and because of that, we're still going to offer it to you." So even though you won't see a lot of it on the site, if you saw the Black Friday video and you think that you missed out, you didn't. You have until 6 p.m. Sunday to take advantage of those. Getting a season pass for 20% of the price, an all access pass for 25% of the price, a lifetime pass of all access membership for something we don't even offer. You're able to take part in it for less than what a 1 year pass costs. The full breakdown of every single discount, promotion, buy one, get one, everything, buy one, get two that we were offering, You can see in a little short 4-minute video if you click the link in the description below. It's the video that I put out on Friday. If you've already seen it, then you know about it. But if you haven't, click the link in the description below, watch it, figure out what you want, and then send me an email, chase@chasewins.com. Those we are going to accept until 6 p.m. Eastern Time on Sunday. If you send in an email before then, you are guaranteed a spot at one of those discounts. I won't be answering a lot of the emails until after all of my games are out for Sunday because, again, that comes first. But then after that's done, all my plays are out. I will be doing nothing but answering emails and getting people paid and signed up until, late tomorrow night, whatever it takes. So make sure you do that. Don't miss out because come Monday, you say, oh, well, I'd like to get a 1-year all-access pass for $1,000 instead of $4,000. Don't email me Monday and say that you want it because, unfortunately, you'll have to pay the full price. But anyway, let's do a recap for what we did Saturday because we had a big card, football and basketball. And then we'll get on Sunday. We'll do a free play and then touch on a bunch of other things. Now, one thing that I want to touch on really quick, and this is because I've been asked about it 1,001 times. So I tell you what, we'll do that at the end. People keep asking me about Jim Harbaugh. They have been for the last month. And I've been, I've kind of touched on it here and there, little things. I've been talking to my partner about it. We both have strong opinions about where his fate lies. And so if you're interested in that, watch the end of the video and you'll get to hear my full breakdown on it. But anyway, let's do a recap for what we did for Saturday. And we started out with, and congrats to everyone that followed the free play videos. Guys, and this is something that I told every one of my clients today via email. Yesterday, do not wait to play the games that I give out for free. If I take the time to do a video and give out a play, I've bet the game before I do the video. I do not release a play, whether it be for free, premium, top play, game of the year, anything, unless I believe in it enough to wager on it. Period. The reason that I have been doing the videos the way that I've been doing them for the last month now, which everybody seems to love, instead of saying, okay, well, there's 2 games on Tuesday, I'm going to pick one of them to give you for free. Why? If I don't like either of them, and I don't want to give you one and just try to give you a free winner, I've got plenty of games I love for this weekend on underdogs that I think nobody's looking at. I'll give you one of those. And out of the last 15 free plays that I've given out, 11 of them have been underdogs, and 9 of them have won. My underdogs are better than anyone in the business, period. My underdogs for football season as a whole, NFL and college, are hitting over 85%. Find someone that gives you as many underdogs as I do, and that they don't just cover the number. They win outright, because that's what I look for. So this past week, Washington over Dallas. We took the points. They obliterated Dallas just like I said they would on video. Stanford took them. I said they would win outright in a very close game down to the wire. They did just exactly what I said. And if you didn't bet it when I gave it out and you waited till the day of, guess what? You had to lay money with Stanford instead of getting points. So we did that. On Friday, when I released the premium card, Stanford made the cut, but they were no longer a 2-point dog anymore. They were laying a 1.5. I wasn't going to lay a 1.5 in a game that I thought could come down to 1 point, so we took them on the money line. Still a winner either way you took it, but take the points. Took Georgia State plus 2.5. They ended up an hour before kickoff becoming a 1-point favorite. 1.5 in some spots. We took them as 2.5-point dogs, released it at 11 o'clock Friday night. Guess what? They won outright as I said they would. You have to follow what I say. I'm not just saying it to do it, saying, hey, let's give out a bunch of underdogs and cross our fingers. Go back and watch the last 20 videos and all of the dogs I keep giving out. And go back and check my record. There's a reason I do it for you guys. I don't have to do these videos. People get mad at me when I don't, but I do this as a courtesy. This isn't something I'm required to do. So if I take the time out of my day, and it's not just me recording a 20-minute video, it's recording it and downloading it and making sure that it's right and then uploading it, doing all that. This is a 3-hour process that I really don't have time to do. But I do it to give you guys free winners that do nothing but take up a couple of minutes of your time. Follow what I give you. Please, don't wait. Don't second guess me. There's a reason I'm here and that you're watching me, and it's because I'm here to help. And I do help if you follow what I say. But anyway, so speaking of that, starting out Saturday, we had 3 early games, noon games. Only loser was Maryland, Indiana over 62 points, or 63 points, excuse me. And that was because Maryland, Tua's little brother, had a bad day. And it wasn't a bad day because Indiana's defense was something special. He was literally twice in the first quarter alone is a perfect example. He had a receiver in the end zone, 10 yards away from him, nobody around him. And Tua's little brother was sitting there just with time for days. He could have just lobbed it up. It would have been something that he could have done blindfolded 10 times out of 10. And he overshot him by 15 yards, and the ball damn near ended up in the stands. Twice in the red zone, first and goal, and they converted with no points. So come halftime, I knew this game wasn't going to cash. I mean, had Maryland just played half of the offense that we know they're capable of, this game would have breached 70 easily. And I'm not turning my back on Maryland. I mean, obviously, like I said 2 weeks ago, I've been on Maryland for the last year telling you to watch out for them. They're finally here. They're not going to do anything this year. The season's all but over for teams that aren't, locked into a spot in their conference championship or the playoffs. They don't really have anything else to play for. If COVID hits them, they're pretty much canceling games instead of postponing them. So they're out for this year. We know that. But come next year, when there's something to play for, and a lot of these guys that are going to be eligible to play another year because of COVID decide not to, you're going to see Maryland be the Indiana of the Big Ten. They're going to be the ones that everybody's like, shit, we think we're better than them, but this is the team that's going to go out there and have their own destiny in their hands, and it could be Big Ten championship team. I told you that Maryland would be a national championship threat before 2025, and I stand by that statement wholeheartedly. I truly believe by 2023, they will have locked in a Big Ten championship over a team like an Ohio State, somebody that is always in the mix. But anyway, that was the only early loss that we took. The other two were underdog plays. Georgia State plus 2.5, they won outright. Penn State plus 2, they ended up winning. That right there is kind of what we're going to talk about at the end of the video. I think that sealed Harbaugh's fate right there. But then we get into the later games. Alabama, Auburn, we took over 62 points. Auburn, kind of the same thing. Many opportunities to get in the end zone. They did it, one time? Everything else was field goals. They missed 2 field goals that they shouldn't have. Alabama did their part. This is a game that even down into the last 5 minutes had chances to go over. But then when Auburn was still trying to produce offense, but then letting the clock run, and then you saw Gus kind of be like, I don't want nobody to get hurt, but I don't want to walk with my tail between my legs. And, it was over at that point. So we did drop that, and that was really unfortunate because I loved that game. Pitt versus Clemson. Over 57 points. That was an easy win. Almost over at halftime. Louisville versus Boston College. We took Boston College plus 1. Laid $1.15 to do it. They won outright. Pretty easy win there. One of the games that I was really disappointed was Duke, Georgia Tech. We had Duke as a pick'em. They should have won this game. I mean, other than at the very beginning of the game and then, of course, in the fourth quarter, they controlled that game. But then when they gave up a couple of bigger plays and allowed Georgia Tech to take that lead, it's almost like they just kind of was like, okay, whatever. They basically gave up. And Georgia Tech didn't just win because of that. They capitalized on it and really separated themselves. I mean, if you look at just the score, it looks like Georgia Tech kind of handed it to them. They didn't. Duke, more so than Georgia Tech, played better for the overwhelming majority of the game. They controlled it. So the game was much, much closer than the score says. Duke is the better team this year. They should have won that game, but we took a loss there. Then we jump into college basketball. Early games, we had two 3 p.m. games, both underdogs. We took UMBC versus St. Francis, PA. We took UMBC +3 and laid $1.10 to do it. They won outright. We took LSU +3 versus St. Louis, a game that LSU not only should have won outright, but they were winning outright for all but the last couple of minutes of the game. The problem with what LSU did was they were running St. Louis ragged. They were running them up and down the court. They were maintaining a lead, and St. Louis finally started to fall apart. Well, then some careless fouls came into the mix that LSU committed, which two things. That benefited St. Louis in two ways. Not only did they get to go to the line, they're a good free throw shooting team, go to the line and basically get uncontested free buckets to then eat away that. But that also stopped the clock. It allowed them to catch their breath. It allowed them to regroup, rethink about stuff. Got them a free couple of timeouts because of media timeouts at that point. So instead of pushing the pace and what LSU could have done and not make just careless fouls for no reason, they were going to win this game 5 to 6 points outright. And they ended up getting beat by 4 points. 4 points. So by 1 point, we lost that one, and we split 1-1 in the early games. But then in the later games, we cleaned up as we do in college basketball, and we had Central Michigan +4. They should have won that game outright, I do believe. First half, they really, really just let UIC walk all over them. Second half, they completely controlled it and destroyed it. Great clock management, great fouls at the very end of the game for Central Michigan to come up short, but they only lost by 2, so we won that game. Norfolk State, who was an underdog for the last couple of days, looking at this line, it was a game that I almost released yesterday early, but because of COVID and all this testing that they're doing, until I had all the information, I refused to. By the time we released the game, which was right at about 5:30 p.m., it was a 7 o'clock game, Norfolk State was now a 1.5 point favorite instead of a 2-point underdog. But we took them on the money line minus $1.35. They ended up winning outright, so a nice win there. Nichols versus Santa Clara over 144 points. That one right there, fouls at the right time. The game was played the right way. Really poor foul shooting and really, really poor second chance shots from both sides. Had either one of those teams just played slightly better on the ends that the fundamental basketball is supposed to be played, this game would have probably hit 165, 170, but barely came up short on that one. I don't know how short. I do not remember. Let's see. You know what? I'm interested. I don't think it was by much, but I was watching another game while that one was going on, so I didn't, after I knew that it was pretty much over going into the last 30 seconds, I didn't look back at it after that. But I am interested to see. Yeah. They didn't even breach 140, so that was what killed them there. But then the two latest games that we have were 8 p.m. games. We took Notre Dame, Michigan over 141.5 and Virginia Tech, Villanova over 136. Both pretty easy winners there. We did have an overtime game, which was nice. Just kind of padded our win there for another winning day in basketball, which put us at a winning day overall. And now we're talking about Week 12 NFL. So let's get into... Let me just pull these lines up just to make sure nothing's changed since the last time I looked at it. And again, if you want to take advantage of getting on the Black Friday stuff, email me before 6 p.m. on Sunday night, chase@chasewins.com. If you don't know what all the specials are, click the link in the description of this video. Watch the little 4-minute video. That way you don't have to email in and say, hey, what are the specials? You'll know what they are, and you can just email in and say, hey, this is what I want. How do I get it? All right, so here's all the lines. Now, before we get into the free pick that I'm going to give you, let's touch on a couple of things that I want you to look at for this game. First one, Arizona versus New England. Now, it's going to be football weather in New England. Okay, it's going to be cold. There's probably going to be some rain, some wind, and not that Kyler Murray can't deal with that. Not that DeAndre Hopkins can't deal with that. But what you have is New England releasing pieces back into their lineup, ones that are going to be able to kind of shadow Hopkins. You're not going to have Larry Fitzgerald in this game. Now, I don't think he means much to the overall spread anymore. I don't think he's somebody that affects it, but he's a veteran. He shows leadership. He's one that can help correct mistakes to the younger guys. Even somebody like a DeAndre Hopkins is not above listening to a veteran stud like Larry Fitzgerald. So I think that even though the Cardinals are the better team this year, even though that I think this year Kyler Murray is a better quarterback than Cam Newton, I think that right now New England has the edge. They're getting players back. They're at home. They're more used to this type of weather versus, obviously what Arizona is. And what do we have here? You have a dipshit of a head coach in Arizona versus the greatest coach of all time in Bill Belichick. So you've got a genius versus a guy that knows more about hairspray than he does football. Sorry, Cardinal fans. It's a fact. I mean, if you really look at it, if you take what both teams have done, and that's what your line is created on, you tell me why Arizona's not laying 5. They're not laying 5 for a multitude of reasons. Teams don't lay 5 at home against New England. And guess what? Cam Newton's still a freak of nature. And if given the opportunity to use his legs, he's just as much of a threat as any running back. This is a team in Arizona that doesn't rush the quarterback as well as people give them credit for. They're going to leave the ball on the ground. And not only that, Arizona's going to be forced to do that too because Kyler Murray is going to be going into cold weather still with that nagging shoulder problem coming up. Where did he get hurt? The Buffalo game? When he had that problem? Or when he got hurt, whatever. So he's going to have that. So to keep that loose is going to be even harder. And I'm sorry, the offensive line for the New England Patriots is much better than Arizona's. So they let him they get to Kyler a couple of times, then he's going to be real quick to not stand in that pocket. He's going to want to utilize his legs, not going to be as easy in Foxborough. He's going to want to hand it off. If they keep it on the ground, which I think they're going to have to if they don't find early success with jetting it downfield to DeAndre Hopkins, because now you actually have someone that can cover him. I think New England may have the edge here. Are they the better team this year? No. Should Arizona win this game? Yes. But I need you to look at all of those factors in place and realize that this line's only 2 for a reason. I don't think the 2 points mean a whole lot. I think if you're going to play either team, I'd either lay the $1.30 with Arizona or take the $1.15 with New England. One or the other, whichever you're going to choose. But even though Arizona is the better team and should do all these things, shoulda, woulda, coulda, New England actually poses the edge in this game. Moving on to Carolina. Carolina, this is kind of like the fuck you Teddy Bridgewater game. Minnesota is overrated. Their offense is getting better. Their defense is the worst that it's been in the last 7 seasons. Truth be told. Carolina's offense is getting better by the week. Mike Davis has really taken the load for that team when Christian McCaffrey's been out. And Teddy Bridgewater is now everybody that said that he was never going to amount to anything in the NFL. Matt Rule has taken him and made him the prime example as to why you don't count people like him out. So even though I think Minnesota is a more complete team, they're not as riddled with injury. They may very well have the best running back in football right now. I think that Carolina, on any week where it's going to be more offense than defense, I think has an edge. I think the line's accurate. This would be a game that I wouldn't jump all over someone and say, "Hey, this is a game you need to play." I think everything's spot on. But right now, until Carolina proves otherwise, they've got an edge. In a lot of times, like over the last few weeks, we've been playing games involving them. I see the Panthers being another dog that has a slight edge. Cleveland-Jacksonville is a game that, I mean, if anything, yes, Cleveland has every single thing going for them that Jacksonville doesn't. They're riddled with injury, though. Their defense and their sack machine is out. The COVID thing has hit them hard. This would be one of the games if I was, forced to cherry pick one out and say don't play it, it would probably be this one. If forced to play it, I mean, I think you know what side I would lean. It's hard for me to back Jacksonville. Raiders and Falcons. Obviously, I think the way that the Raiders offense is playing, it's not hard. I mean, it's hard not to look at them. The Falcons are still nothing overly impressive, but still have the offensive weapons to, burn a house down at any given time. The question is going to be, is the Raiders defense going to be able to correct some mistakes that they made against Kansas City? Because if they do, it'll be a long day for Atlanta. Again, another game that I think the odds are pretty correct. The Chargers and Buffalo, that is a game on the premium card for sure, already locked in, so I'm not going to mention that one. Giants and Bengals. I tell you, on this one, again, most people are looking at it like, oh, this is a lock. The Giants minus 5.5, 6 in some spots, and you would be right in a lot of circumstances. The question is going to be, is Cincinnati going to start protecting their quarterback? Because, like I said 2 weeks ago on video, if they don't start protecting Joe Burrow more, this guy's going to get severely hurt. Sure as the world, it happened. They don't protect the kid. That's why I think it's going to be so dangerous for Trevor Lawrence going to a team like that, like the Jets or somebody. He's going to have to really fight to hope to get on a team like New England or somebody that's going to protect him. Because Joe Burrow is he's bigger, and I think that he's got more mass on him than Lawrence does. And if Lawrence starts getting hit in the NFL like Burrow has all season, they'll kill that kid. So, again, this is where all signs point to the Giants. But if they start protecting the quarterback, Cincinnati's proven that they know how to play downfield. And New York is not so good of a team. They can't be beaten by anybody on any given week. So, again, the value in this game is a prop bet, I would think. Let me look at Daniel Jones, his rushing yards. So the line's at 22.5 right now. I would take Daniel Jones over 22.5 rushing yards. And hell, I'd lay that as a premium play all day long because he likes to utilize his legs, and he's not scared. He's not somebody that's just going to go for a couple of yards and slide. He's going to go and get every bit of yardage that he can, and I see him utilizing his legs in every quarter. And it would not surprise me at all to see Daniel Jones have a day where he rushes 35 to 40 yards. So that's your play in that game. Tennessee, Indianapolis, again, I think the edge here, everybody is thinking under, total sitting at 49.5 right now. If I had to lean this one right now, honestly, I think this game's much more offensive than people are going to give it credit for, and I think there's value on the over. Truth be told, I think this over should be sitting at 52. Saints, Broncos, all their quarterbacks are out. They're going to have to go with an emergency QB. So right now the Saints are laying 14. Again, all signs point to the Saints. But the question is, are they going to be able to play in Denver? Laying 2 touchdowns in the NFL is tricky. Yes, everything is siding with the Saints right now, but I'm not laying 14 with the Saints without Drew Brees, especially at Mile High, period. So probably stay away from that one. And then let's talk about the Sunday night game. Green Bay and my Chicago Bears. First off, is Green Bay a better team? Yes, they are. Offensively, without question. Defensively, no, the Bears are the better team. Truth be told, defensively, I think the Rams right now are the best team overall defensively in the NFL. Chicago coming in second. One thing that Chicago does really well is they guard the deep ball, and teams don't score against them in the red zone. They don't score touchdowns against them in the red zone. I think they're like third in the NFL on that. And they are number 1 in the NFL and preventing teams from converting on third down of 4 yards or more. Whereas a lot of third downs have been converted this season. I mean, there was probably more overs this season in the first 5 weeks than usually in the first 8 weeks of a season. Chicago prevents that. Even though they're playing at Lambeau, we know it's going to be cold. They're used to that. 2 things that I see here is Chicago's the better defense. This is a rivalry like no other. This is probably the most intense rivalry in the NFL. They love to get to Aaron Rodgers. Khalil Mack is still trying to prove to the world why the Raiders were the dumbest team ever to let him go. That's why I'm rocking the Mack jersey. I think he gets to Aaron Rodgers, and what I see is a game that Green Bay can win, should win, probably will win. But 9.5? No. I mean, if you were saying, I mean, honestly, when I broke this game down, I broke it down a bunch of different ways. I've got Green Bay anywhere from 4.5 to 7. No more than a touchdown do I have Green Bay. Can they win by 9.5? Yes. If they get over a touchdown win, then I see them winning by 2 touchdowns, maybe 3 touchdowns. But are you going to, in cold weather, in this rivalry game, without your fans being there to pump you up and just shut Chicago out, are you going to be able to offensively run all over them? No. Aaron Rodgers isn't playing to the best of his ability. He basically has one main target. The rest of them are mediocre at best. Chicago's hard to get by. And finally, no more Nick Foles. Money Mitch, Mr. Kissin' Titties himself, my man, Mitchell Trubisky is back. Is he a great NFL quarterback? No. He could be, though. He could be. Plus, he's a Tar Heel. So, but anyway, all you guys know I love Mitch Trubisky. This is where he gets his job back. If he goes out there and he shits the bed, then it just makes Matt Nagy look like he made the right decision. Mitch was winning when he was in. Yes, he had a shit game. But even in some of the not so great games he had at the beginning, he was still winning. Nick Foles comes in, they suck. Nick Foles sucks. He won a Super Bowl off of a fluke. He's a journeyman. There's a reason that he has never been a talked about starting quarterback for any length of time in the NFL that means anything. Nick Foles is like Ryan Fitzpatrick. Nick Foles is like Case Keenum. Nick Foles sucks. He sucks. And Matt Nagy is the worst fucking coach ever. Him and Patricia should be in the unemployment line together. Period. They both suck royal dong. Matt Nagy has got a relationship with Nick Foles. That's why he doesn't want Mitch in there. And he doesn't like the fact that Mitch will tell him that he's not calling plays correctly. Well, thank God Matt Nagy is not calling offensive plays anymore. He shouldn't have been at all. It's all coming from the booth now. And with Mitch going back in, somebody that knows how to utilize his legs the correct way, Nick Foles does not. He looks like a baby deer trying to run across a frozen pond. Mitch will be able to pick up yardage with his legs. He knows how to throw more accurately. The question is, will Green Bay's defense allow him to? Well, if you look at Phillip Rivers being able to do it the way he did last week without even trying, I think in this spot, Mitch could really get the ball downfield. And all Chicago needs is one really good quarter to just shut Green Bay out and them have good offensive production. I think Chicago's defense can do the rest. Again, I don't necessarily think Chicago upsets them, but 9.5 is too much. Prime time, rivalry, Lambeau Field, one of the best defenses in the NFL, quarterback fighting for his job, a quarterback who only has one target, who really doesn't even like the team that he's on anymore. No fans. Give me the Chicago Bears plus the points. This is now only the third time I've taken the Bears all year. So far, we are 2-0. Fourth time. No, third time. Third time. Both times. This is the third time we've taken the Bears, and all times have been underdogs. We're 2-0 so far. So hopefully we'll cash in 3-0 on the Bears. So, again, I don't like playing my own teams, but I love this game. Plus 9.5. And if you can get it at 10, God bless you. I've seen 110 out there. So if you can get it at 10, go for it. Bears plus 9.5. That is your free play. And again, I'm not going to get to the Harbaugh thing tonight. I'll give you this. I think Harbaugh ends up in Detroit. Patricia was fired. Harbaugh's been gone since before the season. I think Michigan was just giving him the honor of finishing out this season. But when he lost to Penn State today, I think it was the nail in the coffin. And I don't think that Michigan was going to fire him before the end of the year. Had this been a normal year, with everything, nothing unchanged, I think he would have been fired after the Rutgers game, honestly. Even though they won, it's Rutgers. I think he would have been fired then. I don't think he would have made it to this game. But losing this one, I think it seals the fate. I think he knows it. You could see the frustration on his face today where it was just like he was looking at the ref like, God, just give me something. I'm getting fired. And I don't think that he wants to pack up his family and move across. He had his dream job playing at his alma mater, being back home, raising his kids in small town, Midwestern small town, being in Ann Arbor in a place that he loves more than anything. Well, Ann Arbor is only like an hour from Detroit. Take the Detroit job, you get to go. They're not going to expect greatness immediately. It's somewhere that would honestly give you 3 to 5 years before they really start holding your feet to the fire. You would be able to keep your family in Ann Arbor. If you did need to move them closer, you could do like Auburn Hills or something, which is a half hour, 40 minutes. Or you could just do on the outskirts of Detroit somewhere, with the type of money they would pay him. But I really think that's his best shot, to still be a high-paid coach in a high-profile job. And there's nothing better than, he grew up a Lions fan, so it's like, hey, you went to Michigan, you tried, you didn't succeed, but what do you think would leave more of a legacy? Winning the first Super Bowl the Lions ever had, or winning just another Big Ten or national title for the winningest college football program in history, which is Michigan? You failed there. I think this is his last shot. He does it for, 4 or 5 years. If it doesn't work, oh well, he retires. And if it does, he leaves a legacy and, very quickly becomes the highest paid coach in NFL, just like the highest paid quarterback for at least a while was Matthew Stafford. Hell, he might still, no, Patrick Mahomes, obviously. But anyway, we'll get further into that when we start our new show that we'll be talking about this coming week. But that's my breakdown. Everybody wants to know what I think about Harbaugh. I could go on about it for an hour, but this video's already gone 36 minutes. So make sure you jump on a package if you're not already on it. It's going to be a big NFL Sunday. We're going to have plenty of college basketball action. And most importantly, we're going to have a fucking winning day. Jump on a package before prices go back up. Don't be stupid. Don't wait till Monday to buy a package that you could get for half price or 80% off. Don't do it. That's dumb. It's not a good financial move. It's not good money management. See you guys in the winner's circle, and see you back for more free plays shortly.